House, house, what's that?
Yes, we're back. And I've just been filling round there. That one, well, once it's all painted up, that'll look absolutely fine. Just got to sand it down. There's an area there, some flaky paint. Take that off with a scraper and sand it. Fill the holes down there. There were 4 little bullet holes in the thing. And yes, I've started papering around the bay. Bit tricky getting around the rad, but I'm getting there. Main thing is to give the wall a good coat of paste before you stick the paper on. And do not have radiators on when you're sticking up paper, because it'll peel, it'll dry out too quick. It needs a good strong bond. Alright, well I got around there okay, that was alright. But then I've discovered this. I hadn't noticed it before, but it's loose. So I'm going to put some bonding plaster in that. So this last bit of paper will unfortunately have to wait, but it's got to be done right. Otherwise, it's going to go loose later on, and heaven knows what they filled that with. And you know what that means, don't you? Yes, time for the PVA again. It's all quiet in Phil's garden. Yeah, usual PVA. I know Phil, he likes to hear that I've been using the PVA. Bonding plaster in there. As I always say, without the PVA, you'll probably find the plaster will just fall out. It just helps bond the plaster to the rest of the brickwork. Keeping it wet is another way of doing it, I suppose, but PVA is a bit more permanent. Keep it below the surface, because I have to give it a couple of days, 2 to 3 days for that to dry off. Then I'll just come over with the filler and then I'll put the last bit of sheet on. But unfortunately I had to do that because the hole that it left went quite a long way under the sill. What I don't need is gaps, you know what I mean, wind and God knows what else. Let alone water ingress. That's a possibility because these surfaces were a little on the damp side. And I can't help feeling that a lot of it may have leaked actually under the sill, but time will tell on that. Anyway, I've done that, probably mixed a bit more than I needed. Anybody want plastering? Just thought I'd show you this fabulous camellia in my front garden. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, it wasn't much higher than this, but we had a massive pruning thing going on last year. But I think both me and my neighbour that side love this thing. It's nice, isn't it? Spring, bit of colour. And my wallflowers that my sister gave me last year, look at that, they're coming up. Chiselling out all these tiles. Used to be a fireplace here many years ago, at least in the 30s anyway, but the tiles are still here. They've just sort of boarded up to it, I guess. Well, taken the hearth away. So I'm lifting out all the tiles, getting them out from under the skirting. Then I shall put a piece of plywood in there, now nailed on and level with the surrounding wood. That will have sorted that. That's all the tiles up out of this corner. And I measured that's just going to be just the right depth of plywood. But what I'm doing, yes, PVA again. What it'll do is it'll seal this surface so that you know, it's not dusty, and when I come to stick the no-nails and the plywood on.
Talking of green toilet bowl, I got some too. But I got some brown stuff as well. The only problem with the brown stuff is you're not exactly sure when you're finished doing what it's supposed to be doing. Still, there is also one of those for getting into those hard to get at corners, and it's pre-drilled as well, as you can see, for that extra ventilation.
At some point tomorrow, I'm going to change this light fitting. This pendant fitting was only a temporary one anyway, just so I could get a light in. And I've got a bar light that was originally in, not sheep, a bar light. It's got 4 little angled spots on it, you know, LED spots on a sort of curved bar like that. And I'm going to put this up here because it'll work for all my pictures and bits and pieces. I'm going to hang around here, sort of Americana type stuff. You'll see, you'll see. Anyway, I'll get that changed tomorrow. I actually took it home to give it a good clean. It's come up great. So I can swap that on tomorrow, get the light fitting done. I guess I'll have to get a bit of white paint around it before I put it up. Yeah, I've worked out the positioning for these lights now. Basically, it's 2 foot in from this wall. Doesn't seem a lot, 2 foot's quite a lot. It comes over here somewhere. So the 4 spots kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. Got me sort of even. It's not the easiest room because, like I said, it's Z-shaped. You've got the alcove there, and you've got an alcove where the door is, so the way the wall sits. So we're going to kind of take it from more or less this square and try and make it look as even as we can. Got those 2 holes drilled up there for lights either side of the bed. Hang on, very long pendants. Just small globe at the bottom, small LED bulb. Nothing intrusive. Yeah, and just out of head height, so you won't collide with it when you get up. So, yeah, that's good. Nice to see Phil out in his garden today. Not sure what that was about. We won't ask, we won't ask. There's some funny things go on next door, you know, that we don't talk about it, you know what I mean? Polyfiller now on the surface. That plaster had gone off enough. Just give that a few days to really set off and go hard. Give it a quick sand, and then we can stick the last bit of paper up on that. I've already started to go around the edge of that paper, and might need a bit of filler just to blend it in, but we'll see. I keep finding things to sand, that's the problem, but it doesn't matter. Keep going. We're never going to get it perfect. It's an old house. You know, we'd have to start again with new plaster, new skirting, and it's a bit obsessive, isn't it, really? I found I needed to add a bit more filler to that, just to level that socket, so at least visually it looks right. But yeah, these holes are going to be right. And you're thinking, isn't that too far in the corner, Ralph? No, not really, because they're going to hang down on strings, and I've got enough scope. Bear in mind, it's only where the cable comes in. The actual rose is slightly bigger, so you can bring it out slightly if you need be, by a couple of inches even. So, yeah, that's why I drilled it there. And it's the only place I could drill the hole safely in relationship to all the joists in the loft. Yeah, because yes, I have been up there carefully this morning. So that's those sorted out. I've also started sanding down the skirting board now. I don't know if you remember that far back, probably not. But there was a surface mount socket there. Bit of a challenge to fill it in because it was a whopping great big hole. But I just kept cutting a piece of wood down until it would just go in with a hammer tap. Use some PVA, which of course is wood glue anyway. So it just sat below the surface. Let that go off for a couple of days. Filled it over. Yeah, so that's vanished now. I think unless you really gave the skirting a real good kick, nobody's going to see that. Keep seeing little bits to fill. There's a little bit down the bottom there. Can't have everything, can you? Yeah, but gradually now I shall start working around this skirting, getting that all sanded all the way around, ready for me to put some undercoat and primer. But I don't want to do that until, you know, that's gone off and I can get that bit of paper on there. I'm still, every time I get 5 minutes and I just want to sit down for a little while, scraping this sealant off that's on the bottoms of these windows. It looks vile, doesn't it? But it is coming off. I am told the best thing to clean it with is cellulose thinners. It would not surprise me. Yeah, so I may go and have a look in my father's shed, because he's got all kinds of thinners in there, and he may well have cellulose thinners. Not even sure if you can still buy it now. But anyway, it's either that or UPVC cleaner, which is pretty damned expensive actually. Yeah, I'll try that. Might try a bit of alcohol, might try a bit of meth, see what shifts it, you know, what breaks down that sealant, because that's what it is. It isn't paint, it's some kind of sealant from when the windows were put in. And they obviously didn't clean it up very well. By and large, I'm getting down, I'm slowly clearing that off now. This was all covered in it, but I'm cutting back. I've just got this little edge now, which comes off alright with the blade, you know, and scraper. But down the bottom it's going to need some kind of solvent, that's for sure. So we'll leave that to go off, it'll dry overnight. And then I'll be able to cut the plywood for that, put in there. Still a better surface than tiles. They were loose, which annoyed me every time you went over them. So I thought, yeah, we'll now nail it down. Put some plywood down. Put a spirit level across it, make sure it's all smooth. Yeah, so that's it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave a comment below. See you tomorrow. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.